Another day ending in Y. More pain. More pain. Welcome, guys. My name is DK. We'll be talking about the 6-game NBA slate on Saturday. Also, cover content for NFL, DFS, and Prize Picks. If you guys are playing either of the NFL slates this weekend, you can check out my videos there. If you're looking for more in-depth content for DFS or Prize Picks, I'll have my Patreon linked down below. And Prize Picks is the sponsor of the video. Make sure to use the code DKDFS for 100% match up to $100. Also, I'll have that linked down below. All right, let's recap tonight. So as I said, more pain. Got hooked on almost all my Prize Picks plays. Jalen Green missed by half a point. Blowout plus just didn't occur fantasy point in the second half. RJ Barrett got massive foul trouble. Just more pain there. I lost about 10 minutes. And then on DFS, cash in low stakes, but missed by like 2 points in high stakes because the Kings game blew out. Come on, man. All right, so let's talk about a couple things here. Andrew Nembhard, even though he was giga chalk, 2 of 16, really? And I'm not exaggerating. I do exaggerate a lot. I'm not, go look. He was 2 of 16. 2 of 16 shooting. Like I said, he was giga chalk, but still. Come on, man. Jalen Green literally had 37 at halftime and finished with 37 fantasy points. At no ownership. Plus blowout. Buddy Hield, Jackson, sure. Like all the Pacers smashed. A lot of those guys were very clear plays. So no surprises there. Sabonis, my boy, went for 73 fantasy points and lost minutes due to a blowout. Jamal Murray, I was shocked at how low owned he was in some contests. Went for 40 fantasy points. KJ Martin. Are we serious here? 11 fantasy points. Are we serious? In this matchup, go for 11 fantasy points. And then Sengun, who barely played the fourth quarter because of the blowout. So, yeah. I basically put a lot of my chips into that Houston game. If it just stayed competitive, I would have had a great night. But the blowout hurt me. Like I missed by 2 points in tournaments. So as I said, super tilting night. But yeah, so that's the recap there. Let's see. Was there anything else I wanted to tilt about? I'm just trying to think. Let me scroll back really quick. Oh, yeah. There's a few things. Trey Murphy, another smash game for him. I lost infinite money on him last couple of weeks. People were telling me how bad Trey Murphy was. Back-to-back smash games for Trey Murphy. How about this? Al Kuzma. Played him last slate, just needed an average game for a huge night. Massive bust with the team to himself. But Porzingis back in a tough matchup. Al Kuzma. 40 points, 7 boards, 7 assists, and a block. I played unowned Alex Caruso last slate. Bust. How about his stat line tonight? 11 points, 5 assists, 4 boards, 5 steals, and a block. Oh. Come on, man. All right, let's talk about the 6-gamer. We'll start off with Boston. So Boston, no Jaylen Brown, Malcolm Brogdon status up in the air. Jason Tatum, does get a bump without Jaylen Brown. He was really bad last game, didn't have the best shooting game, but I think he stands out as a really good spend up on this slate. Great matchup, missing, second highest usage player on this team. So do like Tatum quite a bit. And I like Marcus Smart a lot in the mid-range. He had a really big game last game, went for 43 fantasy points. So I think he stands out as a phenomenal play. Brogdon and White would be the pivots off of Smart. Brogdon, if he plays, I think is still playable in tournaments. Derek White, not as good of a point per minute guy, but you could utilize those guys as pivots. Again, if Brogdon misses, then you just probably get more minutes for White, more minutes for Grant Williams, and probably Peyton Pritchard would see rotation minutes. Al Horford's back, so I want to see what they do the starting lineup. Either way, I think Rob Williams will probably be in the 25-minute range. Like his ceiling, he was really bad last game, though. In 29 minutes, only went for 17 fantasy points. Like, Robert Williams is about a point per minute guy. So if you played him last night, you got very, very unlucky. Al Horford should see low 30s minutes. I think he's a fair value play in a good matchup. Grant Williams been playing a ton. No issue with him. His minutes will be pretty secure if Malcolm Brogdon does not play. All right, on the Charlotte side, another relatively easy team to talk about. No Oubre, Gordon Hayward, doubtful. LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, both fine tournament options. LaMelo been playing, 38 to 40 minutes a game. Rozier should see similar minutes, not as high of a floor, but both guys are fine contrarian plays. Mason Plumlee been playing extremely well. Minutes have ticked up a little bit on him of late, so I think he's a decent option in the mid-range as long as his game stays competitive. PJ Washington, does deal with foul trouble, and production can be a little bit up and down, but he's only 5.4K, so another fine, GBP play. McDaniel should continue to start with Gordon Hayward out. I expect low 30s minutes, kind of indifferent there. Off the bench, probably can't do anything. I guess if I had to play someone, it probably would be Dennis Smith Jr. Should see like low 20s minutes. They did, I believe, Nick Richards actually played over Mark Williams last game. He did. So I wanted to mention that just in case you were going to go to Mark Williams. He was a DNP last game. All right, Memphis and Indiana. So on the Memphis side, we don't know the status of Brooks or Brandon Clark, but the top end guys are relatively easy to talk about. John Morant, 10-3. As long as you think the game stays competitive, I do like his ceiling quite a bit. Triple J and Bane are more secondary plays. These guys do have ceilings, but when John Morant is healthy, the floor is a bit lower. Steven Adams should see around 30 minutes. I think it's a pretty safe play. He's been playing really well. Also been rebounding the ball at an absurd rate. If Dylan Brooks is out, I actually don't know who they would start since Konchar's out too. I mean, you might get a Zaire Williams start. He's not the best point per minute guy, but it is only 3.1K. You would probably get more minutes for a guy like David Roddy as well. So those two could be playable values if Dylan Brooks is out. And then, I think Tyus Jones is too pricey. If Clark is out, you'll get Tillman playing the backup 5. Playable value, he'll play whenever Steven Adams is not on the court. All right, on the Pacers side. So we know Halliburton's not going to play in this game. We're not sure about Turner and Naismith. They were questionable tonight, so they could play, I guess, on a back-to-back. We'll see. If they are out again, the Pacers ran an 8-man rotation. Now, I'm not sure if they'd run that rotation again, but if they do, then the Pacers are by far the best team to target on the slate, right? You saw big minutes for Hield, big minutes for Mathurin, big minutes for Nembhard. Like, all these guys played a ton. The usage is way up in guys like Hield and Mathurin with Halliburton and Turner off the court. So those two look really good. Andrew Nembhard literally shot 2 of 16, but I would like him quite a bit again. TJ McConnell had a good game off the bench. I think he would still be a solid play. Jalen Smith, Isaiah Jackson split the 7 minutes. Isaiah Jackson is the flat min price. Jalen Smith is 3.6K. Both those guys are really good values. O'Shea Brissett played a ton. He played 30-plus minutes. I like him quite a bit. They literally ran a super, super tight rotation. If they run that rotation again, this team is by far the best team to target. If Miles Turner and Aaron Naismith are both in, then it gets a little bit trickier. Turner himself, assuming no limitations, would be a really good play. Would like Naismith, would still like Hield and Mathurin, would still like Nembhard a good amount, and would still like McConnell off the bench. I'm not sure if they go to Jalen Smith or Isaiah Jackson as the backup 5, so that would be a little bit trickier to try to decipher there. And then I forgot to mention Chris Duarte too. He played 26 minutes, was really bad. He's been really bad this year, but if you wanted to go to him as a contrarian play, I guess you could. All right, Atlanta and Toronto. So Atlanta, no Capella. Pretty easy team to talk about. Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, fine in tournaments, but don't love the matchup here. Collins and Okongwu do have a ceiling if they can stay out of foul trouble. You got foul trouble for Collins last game, so you saw the massive game for Okongwu, 62 fantasy points. Obviously, that was an outlier performance, but both the Hawks front court guys are playable. Bogdanovich is 5'8". It feels a little bit pricey coming out the bench. DeAndre Hunter at 5K is just like, he's fine secondary play, I guess. On the Toronto side, another pretty easy team to talk about. Starters should play a ton. Like the spot here for him. So Siakam, Van Fleet, Barnes, OG, Garrett Trent, all firmly in play. The issue, as I've been talking about a lot recently, is trying to figure out who it's going to be. Well, last game it was Scotty Barnes. It could very easily be Siakam. It could be, OG's had a couple big games. It could be the Van Fleet game. We've seen some Gary Trent Jr. pretty big games of late. So, all 5 are in play. And MME, it's really easy, right? If you're building 150, if you're a 150 maxer, you can just mix and match these guys. Just sprinkle in a little bit of everyone. But when you're a single entry player and no one is like extremely underpriced, I'm just like looking at this team. I'm like, I don't know. Like they're all good plays, but like no one stands out more than the rest. So I know I sound like a broken record over the last week or so, but that's basically how it's been. Bench guys, I mean, there's no one I really feel confident in. Boucher, Achua, probably see minutes. I mean, you did see 18 minutes for Achua last game. Loco might see a couple rotation minutes. Probably get a little bit of run from Malachi Flynn, but yeah. All right, Cleveland and Minnesota. Cleveland, Mitchell, Garland, they should play 35 to 40 minutes. Mitchell has the highest ceiling, like his upside in tournaments. Darius Garland, 7-6, has kind of been quiet of late, but probably gives you 35 to 40 fantasy points. The front court does feel a little bit too cheap here with Mobley and Allen. Mobley got in foul trouble last game, so that's why he only played sub 30 minutes. Well, Jarrett Allen played 39 minutes and had a really big game, so wouldn't expect that many minutes from Allen and would expect more minutes from Mobley. But both front court guys, I think, are decent options. No one else really stands out. I know Okoro had a decent game last game. He started. I mean, I guess you can play him, but it's a really painful roster right up there with like a Reggie Bullock. LeVert, Love feel a bit pricey, but you can take shots on those guys in tournaments. The minutes have been ticking down on Love. And then Ricky Rubio also saw rotation minutes. He'll be productive when he's on the court, but I probably can't go there yet unless we get news that his minutes restriction is going up. He only played 10 minutes last game. All right, Minnesota, so still no Cat. Don't love the matchup for these guys, so nothing really stands out to me. Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell, these guys have ceilings, but neither, again, stand out in this matchup. Rudy Gobert with Naz Reid back, minutes not as secure, only 32 minutes back-to-back games. That is a little bit concerning. The wings and slow-mo, McDaniel's still priced right. Again, Naz Reid is a bit overpriced. Noel's overpriced. There's just not a lot here, I guess. Taurean Prince would probably be my favorite play, but only played 19 minutes last game. So factoring in price, I guess Taurean Prince is my favorite play in the Timberwolves. Philadelphia and Utah. So Philadelphia, this is a really good matchup. I like Embiid and Harden a good amount here. They should be able to feast against this Utah Jazz team. So really do like both these 76er stars. I think I give the edge to Embiid. Like if you look at Embiid, he's going to be matched against like Walker Kessler or Vanderbilt. Like he should be able to have his way. Now Tobias Harris is questionable. If he's out, I don't know what they're going to do with the starting lineup. I guess they could just throw another guard in there. Like I don't think they would go like Niang or like Thibault in the starting lineup. So like we know Harden, Embiid, Maxey, PJ Tucker are going to start. I guess they could just start D'Anthony Melton, right, and start like a 3-guard lineup. So if that's the case, like Melton could be playable at 4.8K. So keep an eye on the news there with Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is in. I don't think there's anyone that stands out to me other than Embiid and Harden. And I will mention, like, if Harris is out, Melton most likely starts, and then you should get more minutes for a guy like Shake Milton at 3.7. All right, on the Utah side, so don't love the spot for them. Markkanen feels a bit overpriced at 9.4. I think he's more of like an 8.5 to 9K player, so I'll probably pass there. Clarkson just feels priced right. Like, there's nothing that really stands out there. Conley rested tonight, so I expect him to be available tomorrow. I guess he's a relatively safe play, should see low 30s minutes. Vanderbilt and Kessler, they'll play the 5 minutes. Again, both are foul prone, and I'm worried about that, obviously, going up against Embiid. I like the ceiling a bit more with Kessler. He blocked like 6 shots today. But again, very, very worried about the foul issues. Malik Beasley at 4.6. If he continues to start, I do like his ceiling. He'd probably be my favorite play in the Jazz. And then Sexton, on a back-to-back, he could sit here since he just came back from injury. So let's finish it up with Dallas and Portland. Dallas, well, Luka Doncic is literally just playing like 50 minutes a game. So he looks great. He's going to be popular, but I mean, he's literally playing the entire second half. So it's hard not to like Luka. Also, you have Christian Wood questionable, which would make Luka look even better. If Wood's out, then I think Dwight Powell and JaVale McGee would man the center minutes. A guy like JaVale McGee would be, in my opinion, a sneaky value. He's been out of the rotation, but he's a good point per minute guy. So if you give me like 15, 20 minutes from JaVale McGee, that could be a really, really good sneaky play. Dwight Powell would most likely start and would be a fair value as well, but he's not as good of a point per minute guy. And then more usage for guys like Dinwiddie and Hardaway if Christian Wood is out. If Wood is in, I think Wood would be my favorite secondary option. Should play mid-30s minutes. Has been playing pretty well of late. Does have that power forward eligibility. Dinwiddie been really, really quiet of late. I think I would only get to him if Christian Wood misses. Tim Hardaway Jr., 5'7". Just kind of know what you're getting out of him. He's going to play huge minutes. but relatively scoring dependent. Again, another really frustrating roster, but I think he's in play here is Reggie Bullock. He's probably going to see mid-30s minutes. It's not fun at all, but if you're playing Luka, you're probably going to have to play a guy like that. And then I don't really think I can go to like Hardy or Bertans or Ntilikina. Just none of those guys seeing consistent enough minutes off the bench for me to go there. And finally, Portland. So Portland starters playing a ton of minutes right now. I think Dame, assuming he plays, is a pretty good play at only 9.3K. I think he will play since he played last game. If Dame misses, and obviously, the other starters are going to look a lot better. Simons would be a priority for me. Hart, Nurkic, Grant would all look way better. But I do think Damian Lillard will play. Yusuf Nurkic at 7K minutes. Probably sees low 30s minutes. Pretty good point per minute guy. Not afraid of the Dallas front court. So he's probably my next favorite play behind Dame. Grant, Simons, and Hart are all kind of just there. Again, we should get pretty big minutes for all three of these guys. Like expecting somewhere in the neighborhood of like mid-30s. None of them stand out, assuming Dame plays, but they're fine filler plays if you land on them. And then off the bench, Eubanks will play the backup 5. I don't think it's necessary to get him in the slate. I'll mention Gary Payton at the flat min price. Did play 21 minutes last game. I didn't do anything with those minutes, but if you give me 20 minutes again from a min price Gary Payton, I think that's a little bit interesting. Also, shooting guard, small forward eligibility. So that is going to do it for the video, guys. Really appreciate you guys for watching. As always, just make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And I'll see you guys in the next one.